Muy buenas a todos, ¿qué tal? Aquí continuamos otro día más con Gabriel Knight, recordando un poco lo que pasó en este día 3. Fuimos a una conferencia en la universidad donde dimos esa reconstrucción de los dibujos al hombre que daba la charla. Se fue a estudiarlos y dijo que al día siguiente tendría noticias de ellos. Llegamos a la casa de Madame Kazanux, esta señora que fue a la tienda a comprar esos objetos un poco raros, tenía un poco una avería en la cabeza y poco más. Vamos a ver qué nos depara el día de hoy al bueno de Gabriel. Bueno, esta señora que está un poco mal, necesitamos parecer un poco curas. Entonces tenemos aquí una camisa negra, un alzacuellos de sacerdote y un gel para el cabello. Si lo intentamos usar por separado,
I don't think hair gel alone is going to convince her I'm the respectable type.
no le parece muy bien. Así que lo juntamos todo. Juntamos esto con la camisa y la camisa y esto con el alzacuellos. Y ahora ya parecemos un sacerdote.
All right, but this is private.
Y como la señora es bastante religiosa, pues seguro que ahora nos abre sus puertas. Os pido disculpas si de fondo se oye un ruido, pero es que no tienen otro momento para ponerse a hacer obras al lado de mi casa que a la vuelta de vacaciones,
Yes,
para
who is it?
encabronar un poco a todo el mundo. Entonces, si se oye, os pido disculpas. Bueno, somos el padre Macaulay.
It's Father McLaughlin to see you.
Father McLaughlin, you say? You must be new in the parish. I'm so pleased to meet you, Father. Do come in.
Thank you, my child.
Please be seated, Father.
Aquí tenemos al bueno de
Thank
vuestro,
you.
al que
Now, what can I do for you?
nos sirvió para engañar al veterinario y a averiguar la dirección. Tiene una casa un poco de que tiene una avería en la
The
cabeza.
painting behind the couch is a Madonna and Child.
Joder.
Madam seems to like candles. Gabriel wonders if these too are specialties of Mr. Walker's shop.
Bueno, vamos a hablar con ella y a ver
Do you mind if I ask you a few questions, my child?
Of course not, mon père.
Pues vamos a empezar.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
People think I'm just a foolish old woman, but I know the things they do. My family's been in New Orleans since 1750, so I know more than most. Voodoo people are all over the city, in the shops, everywhere. They'll curse you like that, and most people don't even notice. Spit on your bread at the bakery. Take strands of your hair at the store when you try on
Escupen
clothes.
sobre tu
Oh,
pan.
you have to be so careful. But I know their ways, so I can protect myself. I know how to use the magic too, and I can counteract their evil spells.
Escupir sobre el pan no sé si tiene de vudú, pero de guarro tiene bastante.
Tell me more about voodoo in New Orleans.
It's just plain evil. It's dangerous to even discuss it.
Bueno, pues nada, asesinato en vudú.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
Voodoo murders? Ah, they are nothing new to me, Father. They happen all the time. I hardly go out anymore. It's too dangerous in the streets. They can get you anywhere, you know. Even here, in this room. But I try not to let them know about me. That's the best way.
What else do you know about the voodoo murders?
Shh! They'll hear you.
Sí, lo que yo digo, esta señora tiene la cabeza...
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
The only true New Orleans are of French origin, you know. My family were among the original settlers of New Orleans. They came here from France. The Creole society used to be so gay in New Orleans. Now it barely hangs on by its fingernails.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes. They're evil creatures. Did you know that evil people can send them into your dreams? They can. That's why I never sleep.
Right, thanks. Do you know anything else about snakes?
It would be bad luck to talk about that anymore.
Vaya pintas tiene Gabriel. Anda que...
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
Oh, St. John's Eve, mais oui. I used to love the St. John's Eve Mass at St. Louis Cathedral. Of course, it is also a night of great wickedness, worse than All Hallows Eve. They will corrupt anything, Father.
They? They who?
Oh, you know.
No sé.
What else can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
Por eso te pregunto.
I don't think I should say any more about that.
Bueno, esto importante para lo último.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
Oh, her. I could tell you about her. Voodoo Queen? Ah! My great-grandmother was an acolyte of Marie Laveau. She knows the truth about her.
Tell me more about Marie Laveau.
No, I won't say anything more. Not to you, Father. I'm sure you mean well, but you are an outsider.
Soy forastero. Bueno, pues nada.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything about Veves?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Oh, yes, Father. It is the wickedest kind. The kind they practice here in New Orleans.
Have you ever heard of Damballa?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
No, Father. I don't know anything about that.
No sabe nada, oye. A ver, lo importante.
Do you have any idea what Caprice and Cour means?
Maybe. I know. I bet you do not know, Father, n'est-ce pas?
Pues claro que lo sé. No se coma el chile. Cabra sin cuernos.
It means goat without horns.
Father, you surprised me. You do know what it means.
A ver qué te creías.
You know what they mean by goat without horns, don't you? A human being. That's right. Slit your throat, cut out your heart. Pure evil murder.
Do you know anything about human sacrifice here in New Orleans?
Well, my great-grandmother could tell stories. She saw it. People say that sort of thing wasn't done in New Orleans, but the real voodoo queens did it. Oh, yes.
Who are the real voodoo queens?
Well, my great-grandmother told me that Laveau was just a front, a flamboyant decoy. She distracted authorities from the real voodoo queen of New Orleans. It's been the same one for almost 200 years. She's head of a secret voodoo enfant. That's what they call their temples, you know. It's so secret, most of the voodoo people in the city don't even know about it. The real voodoo queen controlled Laveau, gave her a little bit of power, and used her like a puppet.
Tell me more about this secret voodoo hound for.
Well, I've never seen it. I wouldn't go near it if you bade me. But it's here in New Orleans, I guarantee it. I hear their drums at night, oh yes. That's why I'm so ill, I tell you, those drums. But we shouldn't talk about it. They'll hear us. It's the devil's work that happens there, I can tell you. I'll show you something. Something secret. You mustn't tell anyone, Father.
I swear on my collar.
Here it is, mon père. A true object of evil if ever there was one.
It radiates something, all right.
It belonged to my great-grandmother. She told my mother that it was a token to gain entrance to the real voodoo ceremonies.
You don't say.
To tell you the truth, I've always felt nervous about having it in the house. You know, evil influence and all.
I can see how you would, yes.
And yet, I could never part with it. It's been in the family for generations. Would you bless it for me, Father? I feel strange asking such a thing of you, but surely you understand.
Bless this bracelet of a snake. Even though its vibes aren't great, let it do nobody harm when they wear it on their arm. Voodoo spirits, go away. Don't come back another day. And now let us pray.
Vaya rimas.
It's a bracelet in the shape of a snake.
Bueno, pues ahora, ya que no se lo podemos robar a la pobre señora, vamos a coger la arcilla y nos hacemos un molde.
Gabriel has a thought about the clay.
Bless, oh bless this circlet of silver. Take the curse, oh take it, Wilbur.
A lovely blessing, mon père.
Yes, I think it made a lasting impression. Here you go.
I feel so much better now.
Bueno, pues todo listo. Aquí la dejo, señora. Con sus velas y sus cuadros raros.
Au revoir, madame.
Adieu, mon père.
Bueno, pues es hora de irse. Vaya pistas.
I'm not going back on the street looking like this.
Y ahora... Aquí no, esto ya se lo hemos dado, aquí me han echado. Creo que al cementerio. Hombre, voy a hablar con el vigilante y hacerle compañía, que debe estar muy solo.
Mind if I pick your brain a minute?
Go ahead. These folks ain't in no hurry.
Vamos a preguntarle, aunque no creo que tenga mucha idea.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo hound fall?
I don't know nothing about that.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? I seen lots of voodoo markings in this cemetery. I've seen graves dug up and stuff you don't want to know about stolen from them. But voodoo? Black voodoo? Sounds like a devil of a distinction, if you ask me.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you ever heard of Dambala?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Bueno, no tiene mucha idea. Pues nada. Aquí te dejo, amigo. Tumba. Pero bueno, está aquí nuestra atractiva amiga.
Malia?
Mr. Knight, what are you doing here?
My family's tomb is here.
Mine too.
Unnoticed. Subtle.
Well, Mr. Knight, if there's nothing else...
Don't go. I need to talk to you.
Whatever for?
I can't stop thinking about you. I've been in your thoughts too. I can see it in your eyes.
Mr. Knight, you don't know anything about me. I'm not in a position to get involved.
I've said that a million times myself, but this is different. I think we both know we can't fight it. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this.
I have so many obligations. My family is very traditional. You wouldn't understand.
Hey, I love tradition. I've seen Fiddler on the Roof 100 times.
This isn't a musical, Mr. Knight. We live in different worlds.
Look, I know you got more money than God. Do you think I care? Do you think that's why I'm saying this?
No, I don't.
Why don't you come see my world? I've got a little bookshop, St. George's on Bourbon.
I know.
See, I knew it. You're crazy about me too. Come by tonight. Please? My world isn't so bad.
I'm sorry, but there's no place for someone like you in my life. Not now, not ever.
Ha lanzado la caña, pero no le ha salido bien.
Damn it.
Esta noche duermes solo. Bueno, amigo, tienes que dar 2 velas. Otro día será.
It's getting late. Gabriel decides to go home for the day.
Bueno.
Excuse me. I'm going inside.
Oh? I'm afraid St. George's is closed for the day.
I'm not a customer. I'm here to see the owner.
Why don't you just leave your name and number with me, and I'll tell him you stopped by.
Listen, if Gabriel is here, he'll want to see me. Is he? Here?
I really couldn't say for certain, but in the morning...
Gracie, say goodnight.
Uy, está celosa.
You came. I didn't think you would.
I didn't think I would either.
Your eyes. I could show you around a little. It's not much, but...
Please don't. I couldn't focus on much of anything right now.
Yeah, I know. God, what is it about you?
Just shut up and kiss me.
Esta noche no he tenido pesadillas. Qué casualidad. Día 4. Hablé con aquel que olía a muerte. Me prestó su oído al hablar, y cruces que fueron marcadas se volvieron un velo de lágrimas al llorar. Qué puntería tiene el niño ese. Todos los días al mismo sitio. Ese niño es un pro. No me saluda ya. Es que ni me habla.
You're not speaking to me this morning?
Don't be silly. I just have nothing to say.
Have it your way. Have you noticed this guy outside the shop?
Yeah, he gives me the creeps. I wish he'd go away.
Tenemos un espía ahí. Bueno, vamos a leer el periódico como siempre.
Times dated June 21st, 1993. Gabriel's eye is immediately drawn to an article about the voodoo murders. He scans it quickly.
I don't believe this. They've closed the case.
What case?
The voodoo murders case. The paper says that the police have learned that the murders were a result of an underworld cartel war, and that the war is over.
That's not good?
It's ridiculous. And what about the killers? And the voodoo angle, they never got anything on that.
I know you were into it, Gabriel, but if it's over, that's hardly a negative. Anyway, if you're that upset, why don't you talk it over with your pal Mosley?
You don't get it, Grace. Just forget it, okay?
Gabriel decides to check his horoscope, despite his disgust. Death walks close to you today. Resist temptation lest his eye fall on you, too.
Peachy.
Gabriel also spots an ad for Sam Springleton, a jeweler. Sam hangs out at the Napoleon House.
O el horóscopo, desde luego, es que no hay un solo día que diga algo bueno. Todos son malos. Acuario, como yo. La muerte ronda cerca de ti hoy. Resiste la tentación o podría también fijarse en ti. Muy bien, perfecto. New Orleans Times, lunes 21 de junio de 1993. Caso cerrado. Asesinatos vudú resueltos. Los llamados asesinatos vudú ya han terminado, dice el detective Franklin Mosley del Departamento de Policía de Nueva Orleans. Nuestra investigación ha revelado que estos asesinatos eran el resultado de una guerra de cárteles de droga, le dijo Mosley a la prensa ayer por la tarde. Esa guerra ahora ha terminado y la gente de esta gran ciudad está a salvo de nuevo. La policía revela que están duplicando sus esfuerzos para desmantelar el comercio ilegal de drogas que convirtió a Nueva Orleans en su nuevo campo de batalla temporalmente. Ay, qué equivocado estás. Sam Springleton, maestro joyero. Consignaciones privadas, restauración y reproducción de reliquias familiares. Precios accesibles. Contacte a Sam en la Casa Napoleón. Muy bien. Bueno, pues como siempre, vamos a tomarnos otro café. Que siempre café está bien.
Good coffee.
¿Cómo nos espía aquí este hombre? Hola.
Get the hell out of here.
The figure outside does not respond.
Nada. Vamos a hablar con Grace.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Mensajes.
Do you have messages for me?
Your grandmother called. She said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay.
Más mensajes.
Do you have messages for me?
That man from Germany called again, Wolfgang Ritter. Now he's claiming to be a relative of yours.
Interesting.
Número de Wolfgang.
Can I get that phone number for Wolfgang Ritter?
Sure, I'll give it to you when we're done talking.
Vale, pues solicitar investigación.
Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
I have a pattern I need you to research.
How interesting. What is it?
It's a reconstruction of the tracings they found around the murder victims. The ones done in flour and blood.
Yuck. You shouldn't carry this kind of thing around. Who knows what these symbols mean?
Well, wear your evil banishing gloves if you want, but check it out for me, would you?
I'll see what I can find out. Anything else?
Nada más.
I can't think of anything.
Bueno, voy a preguntarle un poco de esto, aunque no creo que me diga nada.
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Ugh, no. Makes my skin crawl, though.
Have you ever heard of Dambala?
No, sorry.
Do you know anything about Veves?
Not a clue. Sorry.
Ritual patterns used in voodoo.
Fascinating. I can't help you out, though.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndfall?
In New Orleans?
I think so.
No, I don't, but it sounds dangerous. You're not gonna try to find this voodoo group yourself, are you?
Would I do that? Do you know anything about black voodoo?
Black voodoo? Ugh, now what are you getting yourself into?
Nothing you need to know about, do you?
I know there are dark forms of any major religion. Where there's a yin, there's a yang.
Speaking of yin and yang...
But no, I don't know anything really about voodoo, dark or otherwise, sorry.
Bueno, pues nada, vámonos.
Here's that
Que
phone number.
tenemos
Thanks.
un montón de cosas que hacer. Me voy. Voy a ver a mi abuela, que me ha llamado.
I'm out of here. Try not to sell out the store while I'm gone.
Uh-huh.
Ajá. Bueno, pues tenemos la casa de Napoleón. Y la casa de la abuela Knight. Vamos a la casa de la abuela. Oh, qué casa. Casa de abuela.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Oh, sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give me a kiss.
Now come on, sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
On the wall are portraits of Gran and Granddad when they were young. Gabriel's inherited some good-looking genes. Grandmother Knight rarely uses the fireplace these days. Too much of a hassle to clean.
Como tiene aquí un pa' coser.
Gran's knitting. She whips through that stuff like there was no tomorrow. Gabriel doesn't knit? Okay, so Gran did teach him once, but he hasn't done it in years. Still, Gran is knitting? How low can you get?
Bueno, nada. Voy a hablar con ella.
That's my Gran. Adorable as always.
Oh, you're such a tease.
No, venga.
Hey, that's my Gran. Show some respect.
Ahora sí vamos a hablar con ella.
How have you been, Gran?
Just fine, dear. I'm sorry I bothered you at work, but, I was hoping you'd get a chance to go through your father's things in the attic.
Don't be silly. You can call me anytime.
Bueno, vamos a empezar.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
Voodoo? What an odd question, Gabriel. Of course, you always were interested in monster movies and all that other weird stuff. You get that from your father and Granddad. I don't know anything about it, dear. Of course, it was very big in New Orleans at one time, but you don't hear so much about it these days. Too much else in the world to worry about, I guess.
What can you tell me about the voodoo murders?
Oh, Gabriel, nothing. And I don't want to. I sometimes wonder what this world is coming to.
Es que vaya cosas que le pregunto también.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
New Orleans is very southern, of course, though not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
Have you ever heard of Marie Laveau?
Marie Laveau. Oh, of course. She was that voodoo woman, wasn't she? She preyed on people's fears and superstitions, is what I think. There are always those willing to take other people's money for nothing. You stay away from people like that, Gabriel.
Yes, Gran. What can you tell me about New Orleans?
My goodness, boy, you lived here all your life, just like me. I can't tell you much that you don't already know.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? I remember when I was a girl, we always had a St. John's Eve Mass. The Mass was said at midnight, and we held candles. One time, on the way home, we were waylaid by a large group of drunken revelers. They didn't hurt us, but, oh, I was frightened. My father was furious. We never went to St. John's Eve Mass after that.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
I haven't celebrated it in years, Gabriel. I'm sure there's still Mass in the more traditional churches, but I don't go.
Do you know anything about snakes?
Snakes? What kind of snakes, dear?
I don't know, local kinds.
Well, we used to get cottonmouths in the park when I was a girl, but I haven't heard of one being sighted for years. Milk snakes and garter snakes are also around these parts, but they can't hurt you.
Thanks, Gran.
Te voy a preguntar vudú negro.
Do you know anything about black voodoo?
I don't know much about any kind of voodoo, Gabriel.
Normal.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
Why, no, dear. Do you mean Mardi Gras masks?
Never mind, Gran. Can you tell me anything about a secret voodoo hound for?
Gabriel, my goodness. What are you up to these days?
Oh, nothing, Gran, really.
You'd better not be. You know you're the only family I have left.
I know, Gran. It's okay. Does the phrase Cabri Sanko mean anything to you?
Something without something, I think. Oh, my French is so rusty, I swear my mind is going.
No, it's okay. Thanks. Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
What, dear?
Never mind. Have you ever heard of Dambala?
What, dear?
Never mind.
Bueno, vamos a hacerlo cumplido.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Oh, you.
Have you baked any of your incredible molasses pies lately?
No, dear. But you let me know when you want some and I'll whip up a half a dozen.
Bueno, lo importante. Familia Knight.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Harrison Knight.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He walked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. Oh, I tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. Oh, the nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he lost another. And I'd tell him it didn't matter to me, but he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district.
Joder.
It took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
Oh, I know you are, dear.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him.
Tell me about my father.
Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. Oh, they were two peas in a pod.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, oh, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then, and he looked at plenty. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's.
Vaya familia.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked to find her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be such a sweet gesture.
It's just past the Ross tomb, right? Oh, maybe I will.
Bueno, pues... Vamos...
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
A subir al ático.
I'm gonna go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
Y vamos a revisar las cosas. A ver qué tenemos por aquí.
Do I really look that desperate? I think I'll leave that up here.
Nada por ahí. Nada por aquí. Sí.
The sheet-covered upholstered rocker used to be in Gabriel's nursery.
I think I'll leave that up here.
Pues nada. Reloj. Baúl.
The old trunk looks like it's gone to hell and back.
A ver qué hay por aquí.
There's a lot of Granddad's old stuff in here. Might be something interesting.
Vamos a buscar cartas.
A bundle of letters. Love letters between Harrison and Rebecca.
Biblia. Vale. Muy bien. Billetera. Nada. Cruz. Imagen. Llave.
What's this? It's some sort of key.
Sombrero. Nada de ajo. Tanque. Nada. Libro.
More of Harrison Knight's German books.
Just what I need.
Ropa.
Some old clothes, including a pair of leather shorts.
Aren't those called lederhosen?
Pues poco más. Nada por aquí, nada, un perro. Pues vamos a salir. Y vamos con el reloj.
An elaborate mechanical clock, probably of German origin, is among the discarded treasures of the attic.
Pues vamos a usarlo. A ver.
The face of the clock is hand-painted. A ring of 6 symbols surrounds the face of the clock. A sword, a sun, an angel, a noose, an eclipse, and a dragon. The ring of symbols doesn't appear to have any mechanical function, but it does move.
Un cerrojo.
A keyhole sits empty on the side of the clock.
Símbolos, mano de minutos. Bueno, cerrojo y llave que tenemos.
Nothing happens.
Pues efectivamente no ocurre nada. A ver, estos símbolos se podían girar. Y esto también, pero no me acuerdo cómo.
Nothing happens. There's an interesting design in the base of the clock.
Me falta aquí.
The face of the clock is hand-painted. A ring of 6 symbols surrounds the face of the clock. A sword, a sun, an angel, a noose, an eclipse, and a dragon. The ring of symbols doesn't appear to have any mechanical function, but it does move.
Ah, vale, vale. Puede ser que este tuviera que estar aquí. A ver si me acuerdo de esto. Sí, me acuerdo. Puede ser que fuera así.
Nothing happens.
Sí.
Nothing happens.
A ver, y si no era 9:15. Y así.
Nothing happens.
Pues no me acuerdo.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
¿Cómo era esto?
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Pues no me acuerdo.
Nothing happens.
A ver cómo era esto. Estoy seguro de que este era aquí. Pero de esto no me acuerdo.
Nothing happens.
Me suena de que era algo y cuarto. Y cuarto menos cuarto.
Nothing happens.
Pero creo que no.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
9:15.
Nothing happens.
Nada, es que no me acuerdo.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Creo que lo voy a dejar.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
No, pues no sé, no me acuerdo.
Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Bueno, pues nada. Ya me vendrá. Me voy. Voy a preguntarle a la abuela a ver si me dice algo.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Nada, no me dice
Oh,
nada.
nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
Well, Gran, I'd better get going.
Thanks for
Ya cuando
stopping
se encienda la
by.
bombilla,
No problem.
vuelvo.
Love you, Gran.
Eso, por aquí poco más. Y la universidad también. Pero de momento vamos a ver la casa, ¿no? Pero bueno, gente, yo creo que va siendo hora de dejarlo aquí. Así que vamos a hacer un guardado. Casa Napoleón. Lo dicho, ya hemos empezado el día 4. Nos hemos quedado ahí un poco en ese puzzle, pero seguro que se me enciende la bombilla. Y bueno, ya veremos a ver qué pasa con esa noche con Malia. Ese dibujo reconstruido. Tenemos que ir a ver a Mouse y a la comisaría a ver por qué han cerrado el caso. Y averiguar un poco más de todos estos asesinatos que seguro que van a seguir sucediendo. Espero que os haya gustado y nos vemos en el próximo capítulo. Saludos a todos. Chao.